Happy New Year everyone! To kick off 2018, I want to start off with something pretty straightforward but crucial for the completion of your garment: facings. I've never actually created a tutorial on making them, yet I draft them all the time behind the scenes. Facings are an alternative way of finishing a garment instead of using a lining. There are various reasons as to why you would choose one over the other, but that's a story for a different day. There are 3 different types of facings for necklines and armholes. I'll talk you through each of them and when they may be used. To start off, I usually like adding the seam allowance to my pattern first. That way, when I draft my facings, I don't have to add seam allowances again. In the case where you want to finish the neckline but add sleeves to your bodice, or finish the armhole with some bias binding, for example, you can create a neckline facing only. This is done by tracing around parts of the centre, front and back, around the neckline and parts of the shoulder. Measure and mark your chosen thickness of facing on either end of the neckline, on the centre, front and back and shoulder line. In this case, I chose 2.5 inches. You have 2 options for how you could finish the shape of the facing. You can either draw a freehand curve or you can use a French curve. Labelling is important, and again, it's something that I don't really talk about, but don't forget to label like I almost did here. In the instance that you want to finish only your armhole because you're adding a collar to the neckline, for example, you can create an armhole facing. Similarly to the neckline, partially trace around the shoulder, around the armhole and parts of the side seam. Measure and mark your facing thickness from either end of the armhole onto the shoulder and side seam lines. Using a French curve to finish the shape of the facing here is a little bit problematic, as you can see. It's like, how am I meant to get a smooth curve when I need to draw multiple curves that don't even fit together? In this instance, I will just draw a freehand curve to save yourself the stress. Label. Now, when you want to finish both the neckline and armhole, you can create a combined facing, which allows you to finish the neckline and armhole at the same time. Partially trace around the centre front, the neckline, the shoulder, around the armhole and partially down the side seam. To finish this facing, you will need to draw a sort of S shape that looks like this. Make sure you don't make the thickness of the facing too thin at any point. It also doesn't matter if it's not a masterpiece. Just make sure that the curve meets the centre front at 90 degrees. When there is a dart in the way of tracing your facing pattern, like there is here on the back bodice, you can remove the dart by folding it closed and taping it down. Trace around your bodice pattern and draw the curve to finish the facing. Here's an example of some neckline facing I created. I also cut out some fusible interfacing in the shape of my facing pattern pieces, but without the seam allowance, and ironed it onto my facing fabric. The interfacing gives the facing support and the neckline some structure. As you can see, the neckline is nicely finished. So thanks so much for watching guys. Happy New Year once again, and until next time, bye!